What is up? Take three. Sixth man here with House Lasku, my partner in crime. If everybody else on the pod can't make it, House Lasku always 100, more or less 100% attendance, right? More or less. Anyway,
We won't
COVID's
talk
not.
about the last couple of weeks. We won't talk about the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, COVID's not stopping him. His team's definitely
Yeah.
stopping him, but COVID's not stopping him. Anyway, Ed contacted me earlier this week, and we were talking about what do we want to talk about for the pod, because we can talk about whatever the hell we want to. Obviously, there's certain stuff, but Ed, you wanted to vent about a certain somebody. Do you want to call him out?
So I mean, I'm calling him out like he's gonna fucking see this or he cares at all about what some fucking random Brits have to say. But so Alex, we like our sports shows. We watch a bit of, I don't know, if
Yes, we do.
Pat McAfee's got something going on, or Speak for Yourself, I think are one of the best ones, or Rich Eisen, or
Rich
what else
Eisen,
you got?
I like him. I like him.
You've also got
Joel
First Things
Klatt.
First. Yeah,
Cool.
man like Joel Klatt. I'm going to talk about him a little bit later because he relates to one of my
Yeah.
points. And you've got ESPN, and you've also got Fox Sports' Undisputed. Now, Skip Bayless, right? So we like a bit of Undisputed. Shannon, like he says that always, is really fun to hear him talk. He's really entertaining. He's really fun. Skip. Whenever Orlando play LA, I always hope there's some sort of storyline, because I know they'll discuss it on Undisputed. Anytime KD does something or LeBron does something, you know it's going to be a topic of conversation, no matter what. LeBron might, I don't know, he might wake up late one day and say, oh my God, how does that affect his legacy? How can he become the GOAT if he's late to work one day? Like, wow, that's how the conversation usually goes. And he actually admitted it recently when they were talking about the whole KD stuff. So did you hear about the whole KD and Skip stuff?
No, but I know KD's he's very free speech, isn't he? He says whatever he wants. Like,
Skip yesterday tweeted, I think, whenever it was, KD had like a 50-point game, and Skip was like, oh my gosh, KD's the best player in the world, blah blah blah. Are you watching LeBron? And I think KD responded by saying,
oh, he
like,
said, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Skip this morning was talking about, well, like he's the best, like he's still the best player in the game, blah blah blah. And he was saying, like, this is what the show's about. Like, more often than not, we're just arguing who's the best player in the world. Is it LeBron or is it KD? So he's actively admitting it. That's all they're there for. They're clout chasing for the KD versus LeBron argument. Now, the reason I wanted to bring it up more specifically is anytime Orlando played them, I'm like, okay, let me see what they say. So they were talking about LeBron's triple-double against the Magic, and LeBron was saying it's a really good performance, like, blah, blah, I got triple-double, blah, blah. Skip's like, for those who haven't seen it, Skip's like, yeah, but Orlando didn't have their best player. I'm like, okay, to be fair, we do have a lot of injuries. Is he going to say Jonathan Isaac? Is he maybe going to say Markelle Fultz? And he says Jalen Suggs. And I was there, like, on my laptop, laughing my ass. Not because Jalen Suggs is a bad player. He's not even the best rookie in our team at the moment. I was talking to Ultra about it. I sent it to him as well. He found it hilarious, our other Orlando Magic friend. And we're like, what on earth is he on about? And when you hear him talk, he's like, trust me, from what I've seen, he's their best player. I'm like, what have you seen? He had one really, really good game against Brooklyn where I think he got like 20 plus points. But apart from that, like,
it is BS, man. He's never watched a single Magic game in his life.
He said it with chest. That's the annoying thing. At least Shannon admitted, he was like, well, Cole Anthony is probably their best player, which is probably true. He's been our best player this year. He could he could potentially be an all-star this year, but that might be a stretch. And you might the guards are always so guards. There's so many guards in the league to pick between, but that's another conversation.
Most improved though. He could be up for consideration.
Maybe, yeah. But it's weird, most improved, because this is second year, expecting players second, third year to take some leaps. But yeah, that's just my issues with most improved in general.
Jalen sucks.
And I'm there like, he can't be serious. He can't diminish this LeBron triple-double because Jalen Suggs wasn't playing. A rookie who has looked at a rookie at times. I'm like, this is so embarrassing to watch. Like, if you don't know, it's fine to admit if you don't know. Point being, Joel Klatt. Now, I was listening to a Joel Klatt interview on Rich Eisen, two of my favorite guys. And Joel Klatt was always pro Lamar Jackson going into that draft in 2000 and I think it was 17 or 18, whenever it was.
Yeah.
And some people were obviously anti. They thought he should be a wide receiver, running back, whatever. This is just for the non-NBA people. Joel Klatt was like, no, he's like one of the best athletes. Like, you can't do what he done and then consider him to not be a quarterback. gets drafted by the Ravens, has an MVP season, does really, really well. And Rich Eisen was giving him props. He was saying, oh, you're only one of the few guys that was giving him credit. And Joe Clark was like, yeah, I'm not going to big up myself up too much because I thought Justin Herbert was not a first round talent. Justin Herbert was picked in the first, I think it was like 10th pick overall by the Chargers. And he's playing amazingly. So at least he had the humility to like, I can't really big myself up because there's also that. Skip does the absolute opposite. Have you seen him, the way he talks about some players? So it's like, I always thought Baker Mayfield was going to be this, this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. He never points out when he was wrong. For example, how he thought Johnny Manziel was going to be the shit.
Yeah,
What
but
happened to...
he's Oklahoma bias, isn't he? So, which is, I mean, that's really like embarrassing for me. Like he always backs Oklahoma, and I'm like, it's sort of like, just please stop. It's just embarrassing. What you're saying about Joel Klatt is really important, because he also did the thing with the Sooners where our fans were chanting against Spencer Rattler, and he was like, Spencer Rattler's not the problem here. And then obviously Caleb Williams came out and he said, look, that was my bad. I got it wrong. And I don't know, it's refreshing to see. It's really cool to people to say like, you know what, I was wrong on this occasion, rather than like, oh, this is what I was trying to say.
It's when Skip said, oh, trust me, from what I've seen, Jalen Suggs is like, what have you seen? And you want me? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about?
But also, here's another thing: is like he doesn't pay attention to the Magic because they're not a big market team.
Yeah,
and it was probably just a throwaway comment, but it's good that they actually picked him up on it. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
That was the basis of his argument why that wasn't a great game for LeBron getting a triple double against the Magic was because the Magic didn't have Jalen Suggs. That's the reason why it wasn't a good triple double. That's why I wanted to put it down. I was like, this triple double doesn't mean anything because the Orlando didn't have Jalen. That was his argument. I'm like, what? When did Jalen Suggs become this amazing LeBron stopper that could affect games like this?
But LeBron said it as well. Like when he stopped caring about what people was talking about in the media, he won 2 championships, and it's the truth, man. Like, just Skip's the worst. He is honestly the worst. Some of his stuff is ridiculous, and I love when Jalen Rose burnt him to the ground.
What a pistol Pete. It's
good.
It's good for him to get context of his background, but like other players can't have context on their background and their resumes. But the way he belittles some players, and it's really embarrassing.
You got to stay in your lane, man. Like there's also like if we were ever to speak on First Take, like there's so much we can say, but we can't stay to the extent because we've never been in that professional environment. And he always talks like he's been that Magic Johnson or he's been at that level, and he just never has.
A couple of things on that. Firstly, he always refers, whenever he brings up Michael Jordan, he always says, I was there because he used to work for I forgot which Chicago paper it was at the time, but he was working
Probably
for
the Sun Tribune.
Maybe it could have been the Chicago Tribune or something like that. He always mentions that I was there covering the team, I know it all. And secondly on that as well, have you ever seen that argument where he's having an argument with Eric Mangini, former Browns head coach, and Eric Mangini is giving his opinion, and then he's trying to question Eric Mangini's credibility. And Mangini's like, mate, you've never been in the coach room. You've never seen this and that. He's like, no, but like I wrote 3 books on the Dallas Cowboys and I followed this guy and I followed this guy. And at the end, Skip tried to give a little dig. He's like, well, at least I wasn't fired twice or something like that. And I'm like, oh, mate, come off.
You were never in the position. Like, you weren't even in the room.
And then obviously about us, because obviously we're doing the same thing, not same thing, but we're in the same sort of area. We're just like talking shit about sports. It's just like a fun, but it's just a UK perspective on shit. Have you, what did he say that other time? Oh, exactly what we were talking about. Remember last week or whenever it was, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about James Bouknight. I'm like, yeah, James Bouknight was one of those risers in the draft who like everyone wanted all of a sudden. I was like, I haven't heard from him since. And I wasn't going to say, oh my God, James Bouknight is just amazing. Have you seen how he's shooting the ball? Like, no, I hadn't seen what he's doing. So I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, that was just to get off of my chest. Like I said it to Ultra, but I just needed to say it to a wider audience, like 2 more people. But yeah, it's fucking Skip. But yeah.